Like to talk about leadership. What is leadership? We tend to think about, hey, you have to be a leader or you have to act like a leader. But what are the qualities that leaders should have? What defines what leadership is? That is something we would like to talk about. So when we talk about leaders or leadership, there are the two different kinds of theories come into play. One is a trait theory and another is behavior theory. So think a little bit before we jump into the theory and how it defines leadership. How do you define leadership, or how do you define the leader itself? The trait is you are born a leader. Okay, by birth you have those qualities that you inherit. That's how the trait theory defines. But behavior is you can cultivate those qualities later. You can practice. You can exercise on those aspects of the leadership qualities, and then you can be a leader. So some of you might have already read a book by Machiavellian Prince. So that also gives you an idea that how Machiavelli defines leadership. You might also want to reflect on that as well. So talking about the idea of trait theory and behavior theory, we can also discuss the idea of the nature versus nurture, whether you have those qualities by birth or you have inherit those qualities, or you can exercise, you can practice, and you can have those skills and experiences later, and you can achieve those qualities later. So what is it? It's a nature versus nurture kind of a thing. You can always debate, you can always talk, you can always argue for or against these two different aspects, the way we define leadership. So talking about qualities of leadership, there are tons and tons of ideas that come into play. You can also elicit those ideas from the readings for this week. But there are few things that we cannot avoid talking about leadership. So talking about the qualities of the leadership, a leader the must be a good communicator and a good listener. Okay. Those are the one of the qualities of a leader, or in leadership. If you cannot communicate quite effectively and clearly, then you cannot communicate your message properly out to the people out there, and then they will not be willing to be your follower or willing to be on your side. So that's why, to persuade people to be on their side, you always have to be a good communicator and also a good listener. You have to listen to them quite well. You should have that skills as well. That's how you increase the credibility and trustworthiness from people, from audience, from your followers out there. Talking about the qualities of leadership again, you must have that emotional intelligence. You must have that feelings of sympathy and empathy. Those human the emotions should be there. That way you can show your one of the qualities of a leader as well. And problem solver, you have to be able to, I mean, sometimes there are so intricate and so difficult problems, we cannot always expect or anticipate that you solve the problems, but you act on it, you act smart on that, that you find ways to address those problems and try to solve them. And also your the priority is always on a personal development, the for the person's career. If you are if you have employees, for example, in a an organization, whether that is a profit or non-profit organization, you always also think on their behalf, whether encouraging them or motivating them to get some trainings, or to attend a conference, for those kind of a professional development. As a leader, you always have to focus on that as well. So again, as a leader, or in leadership, you have to be very visionary. If you are in a position of leadership, you have to be very far-sighted. Okay, what's going to happen 10 years down the road, in a way that you have been doing your work in the organization, or where that organization is gonna be in 5 years, 10 years down the road. You have to be very visionary, and also accountable and responsible at the same time. You have to be accountable, responsible for the job you do, for the act you do, and even you have to be accountable for your employees as well at the same time. So that way you're responsible responsibilities a lot. So as a leader or in the position of leadership, you have to be very aware of that as well. And at the same time, you have to be caring, very caring, and also very open and frank and candid at the same time. Sometimes if the model is very hierarchical in an organization or in an institutions, most of the employees are scared to come closer to their the boss, to their leader, and cannot communicate properly. But if you are caring, if you are candid at the same time, they are very open to you, and they feel like in a sort of a homely environment, even within the working environment, and that is something will help your organization grow, even for the longevity of your organizations, for the growth of your organizations. A kind of a familiar or friendly behavior is very, very important within the organization, while at the same time. So that's why basically they tend to say that the sorry, the horizontal, not yes, because the relationship is kind of a vertical, not horizontal. So when there's a horizontal relationship, like in a balanced parallel relationship among employees and employers, the boss and then the other employees, I think that will help help the organization grow as well. So caring is very important elements as well. So again, as a leader, you have to be very adaptable when any kind of situation that come into play. For example, last 2-3 years, we we witness COVID pandemic. Okay, you can imagine that the situation was very, very fearsome. So some of the leaders who were working in a position of a leadership at an organization, they must have played a very, very important role. Without even if they have sort of a fear, they try to handle it, properly. Those who could not handle it properly, might have already just fail to act properly as well. So that's why these personalities is very important as a leader as well. So at the same time, as a leader in a position of leadership, we have to be very creative and imaginative as well. Creativity is always important. But when if you are creative, you will be able to see things outside the box. If you are not creative, you will be the victim of that group thinking. Group thinking is the idea that the majority of the people within the organization tend to say one thing, but that might not solve the problem. Sometimes to solve the problem, sometimes to see the exact problem, you might have to look at things outside the box. Okay, so you can look at things outside the box only when you are imaginative and creative. So as a leader, you have to be imaginative and creative as well, and also strategic at the same time. Okay, you have to be very strategic thinking, you must have. So if you have those qualities, you can definitely be able to run the organization quite properly. So after we went through all these the qualities of the leadership, or of a person in the position of a leadership. So now we can discuss that which one might be the most important quality of leadership, or could be more than one, or could be other than what we have just discussed here. So this is a questions, or a sort of a thing for you to just to think about, to brainstorm. Okay, so there are tons of the literature about leadership out there: good leadership, bad leadership, the different theories of leadership, which we're gonna discuss in our next week the class as well. But for now, I just wanted to give you a very brief, short idea about leadership and different qualities of leadership. So if you find a few more other qualities, you can always drop on the comments below, and then just and let's discuss this and enrich the knowledge of leadership as well. All right, thank you.